Hi, everyone. My name is Kathe Petchel, and I am here today to talk to our framework family and friends about how to mine your list. In particular, we're talking about finding quality staff, but I'm also going to cover other ways to mine your list. So what I want you to think about is sort of like looking for gold. Where are the little nuggets and what kind of information should we go through with a fine-tooth comb to find those golden nuggets? Today, we're looking for nuggets of staff and also possibly enrollment and just kind of coming back and recreating our systems and updating things so that we're ready to go as the world recovers from COVID and we get kind of back in the saddle and ready to go with all of our enrollment and staffing. So mining your list. And before I start, I wanted to remind you that I'm always happy to take requests for content. I love to create content. And one of the things I love best about my role as client relations at Hinge is I get to talk shop all day. So if there's something that is perplexing you, challenge me and I will try to create some content on it just for you. Why mine your lists? Oh my gosh, well, let's get started. The main reason really is building relationships. So I had that at the bottom. It's just basically the more you recreate and reconnect with relationships, the better you'll be with hiring and retaining staff, working on your enrollment, speaking with vendors and updating any kind of systems you have with your vendor relationships. Also, mining lists really helps you with innovations. So why mine your lists? Why not? We've really kind of dropped the ball on a lot of sort of the systems that we did pre-COVID, 2019 and early 2020. And so with staff, we're looking for new staff. We're also trying to find potential staff, maybe even years down the road. If you've been in business a really long time, I've actually had my school since 1984. Now we're second generation, the children that came to my school now have children. If you have not had your school or your program quite that long, you can still be mining your list and sort of setting the stage for your students now in 10 years from now to come and work for you. So we're looking for new staff, potential staff, and thinking outside of the box. As I said, your former students, time goes pretty quickly and they'll be ready to come in maybe as a junior teacher or an intern, when they're 16 or 17 years old. And also your former teachers. We want to look at any of your staff that maybe left and maybe they left during COVID and they're uncomfortable asking you if they can come back. They shouldn't be, but maybe a reach out with them and finding a list of your former staff. Easy to do. Look at your HR system or your payroll system and go back, and filters are a beautiful thing. Go through your filters and see exactly who left and when they left. Maybe review a little bit about your notes about them, and then give a reach out to offer them to come back to your program and see how that works out. They also know a lot of people. Your former staff will have friends and family. If you do a reach out and maybe they're not interested in coming back, but they might know someone who would be a really good fit for you. Remember, they can be your biggest ambassadors. And so many times when someone leaves, they feel uncomfortable asking if they can come back. Sometimes when we're hiring, also, we reach out to staff and are unsuccessful in hiring them. They go to the competitor down the road. And I would also say, that competitor has, 60 to 90 days to make that staff member feel welcome and train them and orient them. I would say the same thing, that, there's no reason not to call them and say, hey, how's it going with the other program? We were really sad and disappointed to not be able to hire you. But, the door is open. And if things don't work out there, we would be very happy to have you come join us. So just, giving a lot of grace and a lot of patience in terms of our hiring right now. It's just essential that if we can't hire, we can't enroll. So staffing is number one. Enrollment is a really good reason to mine your list as well. No money, no mission, we say at Hinge all the time. If you're not bringing in the tuition dollars, we're not, our business will not be profitable. In fact, it won't even be viable. I think so many people right now have gotten a little bit acclimated to the grants and the federal funds that look like they're still coming our way for possibly the next 6 months or so. We're not sure. Don't get lulled into a sense of just comfort. Make sure that you're working your enrollment and enrolling as much as you can, given the staff that you have. So making sure that your enrollment lists are being mined regularly. And I'm going to talk about how to do that in a minute, but the next group that you would want to look at are your vendors. Your vendors, in some cases, you've taken a pause. Maybe you've not kind of kept up to date with making sure that you've got the right vendors in place. I know I just redid all of my phone systems and switched to a voice over IP system. And so I let go of one vendor and hired another vendor for my phone systems. Good opportunity to do that. I'm not sure I got a particularly great rate, but I do think it's going to enhance my systems and, our opportunities to call families back more quickly and gather information. But a vendor is a good example to mine. Maybe you're doing, maybe you've got a landscaping company and you want to get a couple other bids. How many emails or reach outs have you had from other possible vendors so that you can, do a price check? So vendors would be another good reason to mine your list. Then innovations. I love this. I love to gather nuggets of information. And as I said, go ahead and challenge me. I love to create content. So innovations is really fun. I keep a Google Doc where if I see a great idea that I want to research later, I just plug it into a Google Doc. You can also do it just in your notes on your phone, where when you're creating, when you're brainstorming and having those kind of down moments when your brain gets a little bit creative, just go ahead and note that. The sources I get for mining lists for innovations would be any kind of Facebook posts or any kind of websites, any kind of email that could possibly look like spam, but may not be. Of maybe you're creating outdoor classrooms and, seems like Google and all the artificial intelligence listens to us every day. So then you start talking about outdoor classrooms and play equipment, and all of a sudden your email is flooded with outdoor classrooms and play equipment. So look at those and maybe grab them, screenshot them, don't spend a lot of time, and just sort of plug them away so that you've got lists of innovations you can do when the time is right, or when you have that right staff member that can take over and create, go crazy with creativity. And again, the bottom line is to reconnect your relationships. Super important that our relationships in all areas are stabilized. So many people coming back from COVID, are perplexed, and it's just a bit of a different world. So the more we can enhance our programs and what we're doing for children and families, the better. So which list should I mine? Okay, so first of all, you want to be very intelligent and thoughtful. I would say intentional and thoughtful. Prioritizing lists for staff. Consider former staff, as I said. Consider people that rejected you, as I said, and went someplace else. The grass is not always greener. So that's definitely one list or one group that we're going to be mining. Let's talk about email for a minute. Filters are our friends. When we get so much email, just think about your Gmail, and there's all the, updates in Gmail, new Gmail, possible spam, social media emails. The way we get emails is so overwhelming. So making sure that you're looking through any of your emails that possibly could have something really interesting or important in. There's a lot of systems in emails. I know we use Outlook at Hinge, and there's so many different filters where you can prioritize. I don't want to miss an email from this email address. this vendor, this person. You can filter, so you can filter certainly by date. So if you're looking for enrollment by date and you think, we've had a transition at one of my schools, and there's a new director. Well, maybe right before the new director came in, email could have been dropped a little bit. You can go back and filter through that several month period to make sure that you caught all the emails. You know, I like to filter by date. And so a specific reason going back in the last year, filtering by date and looking and making sure you haven't missed or dropped any balls. Granted, you're going to be way behind when you call someone and say, I just saw this email, but at least you're reaching out to them and trying to update and just reconnect. You know, again, if you just go in with I'd love to reconnect with you. And I noticed, you know, you sent us an email several months back. How can I help? Have we served you well? And then by subject, I think it's really important to filter by subject. So if this is what's happening to me with enrollment right now, instead of families emailing, so they'll go to our website and then look at our pages and then ask for more information. The email comes straight to whichever location. Instead of families now asking about enrollment, inquiring about a 2-year-old, or they used to always ask about price. Now what I'm seeing in my emails is wait list. What's your wait list situation? Can I get on your wait list? And so if you filter by certain words or subjects, enrollment, wait list, 2-year-olds, fall enrollment, teachers, you know, so then you can filter and then start to just tick everyone off, just, you know, check off your list of reaching out to anyone that has asked for a certain subject. Checking spam and making sure that you're whitelisting emails that you want to get, and then also making sure that your parents, your customers, and your staff know about how you'll be sending emails. And then anything with updates, I miss that sometimes in Gmail, you want to make sure that you're checking updates. You know, sometimes those threads in an email group or threads can get a little confusing. And so you want to make sure that you've checked your emails and check filters. So former staff, directors with emails. So if you have emails that you give to your directors and some of your key staff, for instance, maybe someone that does your recruiting for your HR, or someone that does your enrollment and an enrollment specialist, and they leave, you want to make sure that you're forwarding their emails to you or someone appropriate so that the ball does not get dropped. They leave and they're halfway through enrolling a family. We don't want anything to get dropped. So making sure that when someone leaves your company, that you have gone ahead and gone through all the emails and made sure that all the loose ends are tied up, that you're giving great customer care, even though that person has left. Obviously, you would also want to send out maybe an auto response in the email where it says, Susie Q is no longer with us. My name is, I am happy to take over. I know you're in the process of enrolling. Let's talk. I'll be calling you. Of course, it's just as good to call. Actually, I think it's better to call if you can, but nowadays, almost no one picks up a call from a number they don't recognize. So taking keywords and checking your emails. Also really important on your emails is if there's any kind of account issues where families wonder about an account. Same thing would go with a third-party vendor. You don't want to be missing any emails from a third-party vendor. I realize in general, I'm talking right now about enrollment. It has everything to do with our staffing too, that, you know, the whole picture is a big puzzle. So we want to make sure that we got, again, the enrollment coming in so that when you have the staff, you're set and ready to go. Okay, so most people have some type of CRM platform. This has everything to do with our enrolling, but it also could be some type of platform you might have with hiring as well. But at this moment, I'm just talking about your CRM platform for enrolling. So maybe you have Childcare CRM, or IntelliKids. We love Kangaroo Time, Hi Mama. There are a multitude of really good CRM platforms that you can customize. You want to make sure that you're filtering in your CRM platform to mine your lists. How many times have we gone through and we see families that have been contacted but not toured yet, or they've toured but not enrolled? Now is the time to go through those lists and mine those lists. At the very least, you're going to build relationships where they're going to be able to say to their friends and neighbors, people at the pool this summer or at the bus stop right now, oh, my child's, when I reached out to a particular preschool, they followed up and they followed up again. You know, we're not wanting to be overly salesy, but we don't want to drop a ball on someone that's truly interested in joining our program for one way or another. So again, filtering. I love filtering by amount of time within the pipeline for enrollment. So typically families, when they're looking for childcare, unless they're just newly pregnant and sort of going through all the stages of looking at, you know, multiple schools, typically they've already narrowed your school down pretty well. They've looked at your website. They've probably watched your social media. They've certainly got some feedback from friends and neighbors, people that are already using your services, and also people that did and maybe weren't happy, or people that show someone else. So you want to make sure that you are Johnny on the spot on, you know, that pipeline, that enrollment pipeline. It's not like when they know they need childcare, they're looking now. So you want to make sure that if you're not answering your phone or responding to any type of email, they're going to go to choice number 2, number 3, or number 4. You want to be choice number 1, at least on your responsiveness, at least on your customer care, at least on giving information about your program. You know, the choice, of course, is theirs, but these platforms and systems make us look good. So we want to make sure we're using them. And then there's the fortune in the follow-up. I love that phrase. If we don't follow up, it's kind of like an open book test. We all liked those tests in high school when the teacher let you have the book open. Same thing. These families have already reached out to us, and it is up to us to read what information they need, make a phone call, document everything, get them in for that tour, and get them enrolled. So it's the fortune in the follow-up, and don't assume that maybe a certain amount of time has passed and you haven't followed up. Certainly that's the time to say, I'm so sorry. I think we have dropped the ball, and I am here to see if I can answer any questions. And if you're interested, I'm going to put you at the top of my list, giving them that good customer care and making them feel heard and seen and truly caring about their child and their family really will make a difference. It's also a really good time for CRM and any of your platforms to update your email signatures. I love to see headshots, beautiful headshots, very authentic, not serious business, but more like a teacher headshot or a director headshot that's professional, branded, but it doesn't have to be formal. Professional doesn't necessarily mean formal. So I love to see email signatures with your correct font, everything, all of your colors correct, and all social media links working. Also your photos and pictures working on your email signature. And again, your photo, I think that really sets you apart so that when the family comes in to tour, they recognize that director or that person that's reached out. So CRM platforms. ProCare or whatever financial platform you're using is an awesome way to mine your lists. So ProCare has every kind of bell and whistle. It's actually a little overwhelming. You can really geek out on ProCare. You can geek out on a lot of these financial platforms. But what I would say is making sure that you're mining your list with anyone that is enrolled now, checking and making sure that your billing boxes are set up correctly and any uncollected fees are collected, any late fees, any of those lists that you can mine where you can use a filter and a report will put you in the right positioned for knowing the enrollment you have and knowing the number of teachers you need to hire. So everything relates to each other. It's all a big intricate puzzle. And then of course, ProCare, Kangaroo Time, any of those systems that have that financial platform with them helps you with the compliance piece as well. You can mine your list for compliance. So you can look and see which students need immunizations updated, or which teachers need to re-sign a sworn disclosure statement or get their fingerprints done again. Whatever compliance rules are related to your state and your program, your financial platforms and also some HR platforms can truly help you with that. We're expecting to have things move pretty quickly in the industry over the next 6 months or so. I would say people are getting a lot more confident coming back. Families that had kept their children out due to COVID are now coming back, and employers that have decided to let families work from home are changing their mind slightly on that. And, you know, they're realizing that that camaraderie and relationship building at work really does matter. So expect your phones to keep ringing and your emails to keep asking questions about your wait list and so on. So again, now's the time to put in the work so that when that phone continues to ring, you've got everything in place for a really good, strong summer and fall. Of course, Indeed and any other hiring platform. I use Indeed a lot, but I also like ULoop, which is a college recruiting platform. If you've got a lot of colleges in your area, you can post on ULoop. It's a couple $100 a month, and you can post, and the college students either looking for internships, part-time work or full-time work. Now all the colleges are graduating their students right now. So really, really good time to be looking for those right out of college, super excited professionals, or just even the students that are in midway through college to work for you for the summer. Great way to give them experience. ZipRecruiter, there's all kinds of platforms. Let me just talk about just in general. Anyone on Indeed or any of the hiring platforms that you've looked at and you've got lists, you want to make sure you're saving those lists of anyone that might be a good candidate for you. Perhaps it's someone that went to another location or might be ready to move to your town and hasn't yet. Printing off any of your leads from Indeed or your other hiring platforms and just going back and revisiting, even back over the last year or two. So many things have changed in the world right now that we can't assume that people are no longer interested in working for us. If they applied at one point, it's worth a shot. And at the very least, they can say to their friends and family, oh, I had a call from so-and-so at such and such preschool. That was really impressive. They reached out to check on me to see, you know, how my job search went, where I was, and if they could do anything to support me. Those are the kind of words you want to use. Yes, it does take a bit of time for sure, but it's, again, that relationship building with mining your lists. Also, don't forget your payroll company. Your payroll company has so much great information. Again, you can kind of geek out on filtering it, but looking over, one thing I do every year is look at my turnover rate versus, you know, retaining my staff. That's a pretty easy one to do. You just do the math on how many W-2s you've given out in a year and how many full-time staff you have. But also consider filtering just simply by staff that have been with you at maybe a particular location for a certain period of time. Really easy way to filter lists and just check in with former staff. The idea would be to cast a really wide net. You don't necessarily even have to call them. You could just create an email, blind copy everyone on the email, send it to yourself. That way everyone doesn't have each other's emails, and just do sort of an outreach. Why not consider doing a $50 or $100 Amazon card for referrals? So take those lists, and any of the lists I'm talking about, your email lists, your Indeed, your hiring, your CRM, and outreach with those lists offering, if you send me a candidate that I hire, I will be happy to gift you with an Amazon gift card or something similar. Facebook and Instagram, this is in particular really good. Of course, you're going to do Facebook ads for hiring, possibly, and Instagram, a day in the life. I recently had my teachers do TikTok, little quick videos in TikTok of a day in the life. And those, you know, anyone that maybe posts in, does a TikTok video for you, certainly you could thank them in, you know, with a gift card and so on. But I'm particularly wondering if you're engaging with your Facebook and Instagram commenters, what kind of creativity and what kind of lists can you find from that? So people that are very engaged are your raving fans. And so your raving fans might have some golden nuggets and some suggestions for hiring. Same goes with pages that you follow. And I'm happy to have anyone ask me questions in the chat. I'm seeing that we only have a couple more minutes left, but I'm really curious to know what you all are doing in terms of some of these systems. Parent communication platforms. This is a really good one too. You can have multiple uses for this. A parent communication platform would be your day notes. How are you doing your day notes every day? Most people are doing it virtually now with a Tadpoles, a Kangaroo Time, ProCare, IntelliKids, and so on. And so your parent communication platforms, don't delete the children when they leave. Keep them in the platform as inactive so that you've got ready-made lists so you can reach out to families for events. Maybe you're growing and starting a new program. Great use of mining your list. Maybe you have a great summer camp program coming in that you want to reach out to all of your school-age students. Don't neglect those as well. Vendor list to renegotiate terms and rates or to change providers. I talked about that one earlier. This list isn't particular to staffing, except that taking care of your staff with all of the right systems at your school does matter. So just reminding you that vendor lists and making sure that you're getting the very best value for your dollar. Direct mailing lists. When you hire a direct mailing company to send out oodles of postcards or flyers or direct mailing letters, see if you can get that list from them. You may or may not be able to, but on your direct mailing list, there's a lot of little gold nuggets in there. I love that one. You're paying for it, so just see if they will share the list with you. It might cost you a little bit more money, but it might be worth it. And then the local school directories, neighborhood directories, chamber memberships, and so on. You want to be careful on school directories because it's really probably not ethical to take a school directory and mass mail everyone. Of course, they are public directories, but still you want to be a little careful. But I would be looking at those to see exactly where families in the school live, what actual neighborhood that I can go ahead and target then with my direct mailing. But school directories are a really good source. I'd also add those neighborhood apps like Nextdoor. That would be also a very good source of hiring and enrollment. Anybody have any ideas besides some of the ones we've covered? I'd love to hear about them. Always happy to hear new content and ideas that you all like or would answer, would also suggest. I'm not seeing any comments right now. How do you do this? One bite at a time. I gave you a lot to do. Pick one thing. Probably the staffing, going to your Indeed or your hiring platform and maybe your HR platform, payroll platform, and start with that. This is a great way to utilize a Gen Zer because they're going to be really quick on your keyboards, and or a millennial, particularly someone you're trying to grow in your company, having them do an outreach. And that's really all we have time for today. I'm super happy to present this content and again, challenge you to give me some more content to come up with for you, and anything you're needing, always happy to help take calls, or you can certainly email me. And again, my name is Kathe Petchel. I'm on the client relations team at Hinge Advisors, and it's been my pleasure to help you today. And hopefully you got a couple little nuggets out of this content.